Fibonacci fam. The tether dominance has spiked up near 1. However, it has yet to touch the level. So I am going to be, slightly cautious still at these levels. However, that being said, the spike to the close to the 1 level happened when I woke up. So lucky me, around, that 9-10 o'clock period. And I did see some really good entries on Near and Say, because their full range rebound zones were touched. So the 0.65 and 0.618, these levels were tagged, and I entered those with stops below the lows. Both are currently running in profit. Say is running a bit, running on less risk, sorry. However, this bounce is looking not too bad. With that being said, I would be very cautious still in thinking that that is the bottom. However, I will monitor and see how the market progresses from here. Let's have a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin has actually, by the way, I haven't entered the long. It's just like a no size position here. But Bitcoin has tagged the golden pocket or 0.618 region of this swing low to the swing high, and this confluence across the market has been an obvious entry for at least the short term. And do I think it's going to go down to that 5-hour long indicator? I'd have to say no. Like, there isn't much room left on the 1 to drop, so I might remove this order. And I would say that the next drop will, well, if it does drop, when will it occur? Sorry, let's see what the base case is. I would be inclined to think that any touch to this 107K region, top side being 108,000, would be a good contender for a local high before perhaps retesting these lows, and then, well, these lows being wherever the tether dominance being 1 is, and then potentially making a full reversal. So I don't think we're out of the woods just yet. However, I do have longs in at, pretty low, low on the range. So quite safe here. I might move these into the break-even region, or even take profit on one to cover the other. I also ended up adding a small position to my Tau as well, adding some size there. And as you can see from where I've marked on the chart, there is a large trend line that is going sloping down here. There's confluence with a supply region, and also these resistance flipped support. So support resistance potential flip at this area. Doesn't mean we can't extend further down here before bouncing up. No, like, we can definitely do that. So be cautious of what is going to occur next. Something that I also saw, and I did mention to some friends who have some radium, that the level that we were at yesterday was, likely to get a bounce because of this full range rebound zone as well. So as you can see, although things move in different magnitude, this has dropped, 46%, which is pretty bloody brutal. And Near has dropped 30%, etc., etc. It all comes back down to fibs at some points. Obviously, some things like BitTensor have performed much better and have been more resilient to dumps. These things are outliers, but generally in the general market, there are cases where you see exact fib levels across Bitcoin and other altcoins that allow you to come to some sort of conclusion. Obviously, with tether dominance as well being near the 1 level, there's a high likelihood of a bounce from that region. Meaning, if it approaches the 1 level, there's reduced risk that there is a lot further to fall down, right? And if there's support as well, it becomes a lot easier to justify longing that region, right? So now, changing the tone where we're on the watch for a bottom. I was saying in my last 2 videos that it's not over just yet. However, now, because we're at these levels, I can not safely say, but be a little bit more on the bullish side versus saying, oh, we're going to go down. So remember when we were here, I was saying, there's probably a good chance that we approach this 1 level, right? Now we have pretty much almost touched it. I do think that we, at some point, even if it goes up to here, we do touch 1 before ascending back up. To elaborate on potentially why this is not the best thing, the fact that we kind of made a squiggle or a rejection or bounce in this region means that there's potential that we must measure from that low here when we project our new 1618, right? So let's get out the 1618 here. If you want to listen to my explanation on this again, watch my previous videos. But even if we were to extend further down to this 1 region, that would only take the tether dominance by the measure that I've been using this entire time. I'm not going to explain it again. Back to these highs here, which isn't the best thing, right? And in the most optimistic case, we will be measuring from the absolute highs. But yeah, that's not always going to be the case, is it? That's just something worth noting. I don't know how to paint this in a more bullish light. I'm a little bit worried that is as far as this goes, but we'll have to continue to monitor the market as it chugs along. Not much of an update there other than, probably an okay time to be putting the longs in with stops below these lows. Unfortunately, if you missed on the absolute low, just watch my videos again and just see how I go about technical analysis. It's all fibs. And listen to how I'm conceptualizing and putting together my trades. It's not just one indicator, it's a few things that I'm looking at. And they're swing trades as well. So I'm hoping that these go to at least this mid-range before potentially retesting the lows. We could even see a bounce up, take out the low, bounce up, bounce again, like that, right? It's a very common pattern that we see in the markets. Obviously, it might not be that clean, but very common indeed. Anyways, 12 a.m. right now. Hopefully that update has been helpful. And yeah, peace.